Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? Nos encontramos en las instalaciones del bar-restaurante La Laguna. Dentro de unos minutos vamos a llevar a cabo nuestra primera sesión inaugural de Divi Madrid, patrocinado por Elegant Team y Web Creativo. En estas instalaciones nos acompañarán aproximadamente unas 20 personas y estaremos lanzando nuestra primera sesión con la presentación de su servidor, Luis Melgarejo, presentación oficial y un vídeo en streaming en forma exclusiva desde California, Estados Unidos, de Geno Quiroz. Eso es todo por el momento y nos vemos en unos minutos.
Hola. 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 Buenas tardes a todos.
Geno, can you see my camera?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Sí, I can see everybody.
Oh, okay, good. Hola a todos. Puede mirarnos a todos. Okay, Geno.
Buenas tardes. Por favor, perdona a mi pobre español. Tengo que usar Google Translate. Gracias por venir esta noche. Desearía poder estar en persona. Gracias, Luis, por organizar esto y traducir por el resto de la noche.
No problem.
How did I do? Did I do okay?
You're doing good, Geno. You're doing good.
Good. Well, welcome everybody. It's good to see everybody. Luis, let me know if I go too fast for translating.
That's fine, Geno.
Okay. All right. So.
No, sí, perfecto, por favor. Okay, dale. Okay, Geno, go ahead. The stage is yours.
Okay. Well, thank you again for having me here with you guys tonight. I was just talking with Luis about how in 2016, we held the very first international meetup. And as Luis was explaining, and it was such a success that now we're having meetups all over the world like this. The guys at Elegant Themes really enjoyed the camaraderie and the fellowship and said that we should.
Geno,
yes,
please, can you go a little slow, please? So my friend here can.
I can go faster if you want.
No, para que podamos entender el resto. Sí. Oh, okay. 1 second. Okay, Geno.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please continue, Geno.
Sorry.
Awesome. No problem. And I'm going to share my screen here real quick. And
Rápidamente.
In 2016, we had our first international meetup. And we had Divi web designers and developers from all over the world. We gathered in Southern California, and we stayed in a house together for about 4 days. Several of the people that came are very heavily involved with the Divi theme since the day it was released. If you're in the Divi groups, you would recognize a lot of these faces. People such as SJ from the UK. He started Divi Space. Tammy Grant, one of the very first Divi developers in the community. Adam Inlay, Terry Hall, Jerry Simmons, Tammy Heaton, Leslie Bernal, Sarah Oates from Australia are just some of the people that stayed there. And And this was the first meetup. It was at this venue. Many of us met for the very first time. And
Por primera vez.
and this is the guys from Elegant Themes when they came over to stay with us at the house. You'll see there in the middle is the owner and creator of Divi and Elegant Themes is Nick Roach. And to his left is Andy Tran and Mitch Skolnick.
And Andy Storman.
Who also work for Elegant Themes. And then on the right is Nathan Weller, who also works for Elegant Themes and manages their blog. So when we had this get together, we were all very nervous to begin with. And even the guys at Elegant Themes said they were very nervous. So you guys coming out to this event, it does take a lot of getting over those nerves, meeting new people. But this is what makes Divi such a great theme, in my opinion. One of the best things about the Divi, and I think this is what makes it so popular, is that it has one of the largest online communities over any other theme. There are at least 30 Facebook groups.
30 grupos de Facebook.
Some of them have up to 30,000 people in there every day helping each other out. I have a Facebook group, Divi Community. We have almost 13,000 members. And as you can see, people are just asking questions, helping each other out. Announcing their products, sharing their products. So that's sort of the first point I want to make is using Divi, you're going to have access to more help than you will with any other theme. And what makes that happen is the owner of Elegant Themes. And here's why, and this is the second point why I love it. The first point was community, the big community. And the second point is the owners, because they embrace community. They've allowed us the freedom to create these groups. They support these groups. They support these meetups. And they support us giving tutorials and plugins and child themes to sell. So when we started creating premium child themes that people could purchase before layout kits were introduced, instead of shutting us down like other companies would do, they allowed it and encouraged it, which made us love it even more. If you go to Give WP's Facebook group or another WordPress company, oftentimes that company maintains it, runs it, and is very restrictive as to what gets posted there. They intentionally, Elegant Themes, avoided that so that we could maintain our own groups. And then they joined the groups and helped when they could. This is what made it really great. So the fact that we started selling products, people started asking them if we could sell our products through them. So they actually listened, and they're later this year, they're going to create a marketplace where us developers can sell our Divi products now on their site. And we're already beta testing it. We're already submitting our products to them because they're doing a trial run, and they're going to announce it pretty soon here when it goes public. All to support the community and the users. They don't want to have full control over everything. They want us to be able to create and share as well.
Somos capaces de crear.
And so one of the things I tell my clients,
Una de las cosas que le digo a mis clientes,
why I'm using Divi, what Divi is, because sometimes they don't care or they don't know.
no les importa a veces, o
But I-
no saben.
But I explain to them that Elegant Themes is here for the long run.
Es para quedar, es camino para quedarse.
So there's a lot of themes in WordPress that you can buy or get for free.
Muchos temas que puedes, en WordPress que puedes comprar o tener gratis.
But we don't know if that developer is going to support it a year from now.
No sabemos si esos desarrolladores estarán ahí para apoyarte el próximo año.
I've had many websites or plugins crash or break and have to change them all together because
Caen,
they're not supporting it anymore. The developers come and go.
porque los desarrolladores ya no existen.
So the great thing about Divi is this is their flagship product. This is Elegant Themes' main product.
Es el producto principal.
And they're investing everything in it. They're hiring hundreds of staff support for this one product.
Solo para este producto.
So that's one of the other reasons why I really love Divi and why I only use Divi.
Otra razón por la que amo a Divi. Y por la que
The third reason I like it, now I was listening and I know Luis was showing you some of the way Divi works.
de las formas en las que trabaja Divi.
And so I won't go into detail, but I love that, one, you can have a pre-made layout in a matter of minutes.
Lo que me encanta es que puedes tener un diseño prehecho.
Yes. Pero me gustó mucho that I could create a fully custom website as a developer.
Completamente a partir de ahí.
So I could do both. I can spin up a site fast with a pre-made layout or build whatever the client wants as a developer who knows how to code as well.
Lo que quiere el cliente.
So Elegant Themes markets the product towards people who don't know how to code or don't want to code.
Elegant Themes ha metido en el mercado un producto para gente que no sabe de código o no quiere usar el código.
But they are always very considerate of us developers and the suggestions we're making behind the scenes.
Que les gusta trabajar atrás de bambalinas.
So on many of my sites, and I'll share with you my screen.
Voy a enseñar algunos de los sitios en mi pantalla.
So this is an example
Un ejemplo
of a site where they wanted me to just add a bunch of sections and modules, no specific order,
y secciones.
so that they could show the client all the different features they could have.
Opciones que tenían.
And so I put together all these different styles and sections,
He puesto puntos diferentes estilos y secciones.
even some so they could have options as to which one they like best.
A ver cuál les gusta más.
And even different styles of buttons that the clients can pick from. So on the back end, I like to use the back end, the classic editor.
Y en el editor clásico. En el editor clásico.
Yeah, so that way I can see all the sections very organized. And then I can open up each one and do my magic in here.
O ver, abrir cada una y hacer una imagen.
So here you see all the options that you see on the visual editor, but it's the same on the back end.
Que tengo en el editor, que es lo mismo que en el editor clásico.
And what I love is, you know, you can drag and drop these different sections anywhere you want.
Con este lo puedes mover y arrastrar con las secciones como tú quieras.
You can copy a section and add it to a new page,
Editar en una página nueva.
just like that, and move things around once you've saved them. So what I also want to show you is,
Y así de simple, una vez que lo grabas, les voy a enseñar.
So you have the option to design it in here,
Tienes la opción de diseñar aquí,
or if you're a developer like me and you prefer to style it with code,
está más trabajar con código.
you can simply go in here, add a class,
Agregar una cruz,
and then on your style sheet,
y en tu hoja de estilos,
you can have all your styling. So here's,
pones todos tus estilos, tu estilismo.
and as you can see, I've coded it in such a way where I just,
Un código de tal manera,
all my styling is done in the style sheet. And I do it this way
mi estilismo está hecho en la hoja de estilo.
because if I give it to the client and I build 30 pages,
Si se lo doy al cliente y lo hago en 30 páginas,
and they want me to change the page 4 font
la fuente de un texto
to a different weight or size,
a una
Diferente altura.
diferente tamaño, diferente peso,
instead of going into every single page
en lugar de ir en cada página,
and opening each section and opening up the module
y cada módulo,
and changing it all in here,
y haciendo, puedo cambiarlo aquí,
it just takes me 1 second to change it here, and it affects the whole site.
y afecta a todo el sitio.
So if I'm somebody who doesn't like this and I'm just playing with my own site, the visual editor's great. And that's why my clients like it.
Si soy alguien que quiere ver, que solo estoy probando y que estoy moviendo,
I just
puedo
tell them,
hacer los cambios que mi cliente o que yo quiera.
so when I give the site back to them, after I've done my design,
El sitio de vuelta,
they can go into the page and update content very easily.
pueden ir a la página y actualizar el contenido fácil.
I just tell them to leave the design part to me.
Les digo, dejen el diseño para mí.
But as you can see here, I have all,
Pero aquí,
once you get the stuff that you use on a regular basis,
una vez que tienes dominado lo que usas regularmente,
you can create a child theme that already has this
puedes crear un tema hijo
and install it on every build. And
y
it saves you so much time because you know all the things that you're going to use.
y te ahorra todo el tiempo que quieras porque ya tienes ahí todo lo que quieres usar.
So a lot of these things are already here, like
Muchas
inline
cosas ya
buttons,
están ahí.
inline button centered. And most of these are snippets from my tutorials. So I took this, I like, here's something that Divi can't do. Have 3 buttons centered in line.
Tener 3 botones en línea.
Quiero que sea, no, espera. Gino, please, can you repeat that?
Yes, so this is something that Divi doesn't do naturally, and that is to have 3 buttons centered in line.
Centrar en línea.
So typically you would have to create columns,
Tendrías que crear columnas,
but that doesn't bring them together like this.
pero eso no las junta de esta manera.
So sometimes they're really spread out.
Sometimes what was that?
Sometimes there's too much space in between the buttons.
Mucho espacio en medio.
So I created a tutorial
He creado un tutorial
showing you how to add this class to the module,
Esa clase para el módulo.
en esta clase al módulo
and copy and paste this CSS.
y éxito.
And so if you find ones that you use often from the tutorials, just put them here.
Que usas mucho constantemente, solo lo pones aquí.
And what I like to do is, I like to really comment everything so that it's very clear
Es comentar todo para que quede muy claro.
and easy for me to take and move and reuse and replace whatever I need.
Y me es muy fácil mover y reemplazar lo que yo quiera cuando lo necesito.
So that's my third point is
El punto es,
whether you're a developer or a designer,
ya seas un desarrollador o un diseñador,
it's a very flexible, great tool.
es una herramienta muy flexible.
And then my fourth point that I wanted to bring up,
Cuarto punto que traigo,
and I mentioned this a little bit already,
ya lo mencioné un poco antes,
is I'm not always trying
tratando siempre de
to make the client come to me for updates.
que
What
venga el
site's
cliente a
done.
mí a actualizar.
I'm more than happy to if they want to pay a monthly fee or retainer.
Si quieren pagar una mensualidad.
But I know some web designers don't like to tell people, their clients, what theme they're using.
Hay algunos diseñadores, perdón, que no les gusta decirle a sus clientes qué tipo de tema usan.
But for me,
Pero para mí,
when I show them and tell them what tool they're getting for their website,
y les digo qué herramientas están obteniendo por su dinero,
and I tell them why I like the company and why this is better than just picking a theme
la compañía y por qué es mejor que cualquier otro tema,
somewhere else, picking up a theme somewhere else,
cualquier sitio,
this adds more value
eso le da más valor
to the project you're giving them.
al proyecto que les estás dando.
So when I walk them through and show them how they're going to be able to update
Cuando los llevo de la mano y les enseño
regular content and images,
las imágenes, cómo compactan las imágenes,
and they're getting a theme that's going to last a long time over something that could break in a
van a
year,
tener un tema que les va a durar por mucho tiempo,
it adds value to you and your services.
es un valor agregado para ti y tu servicio.
Now, if you're here tonight,
Si estás esta noche aquí,
not because you're a web designer developer, but you have a website,
no porque seas un desarrollador o diseñador, sino porque tienes un sitio web,
and then I would tell you that this is ideal for you as well.
este también es ideal para ti.
Because if there's so many things to play with and there's so many
Hay tantas cosas con las que se puede hacer
options
y tantas opciones
that you don't need to have developer experience.
que no necesitas tener experiencia como desarrollador.
It's a great tool to play with.
Y es una herramienta divertidísima.
And so those are the main points that I wanted to cover today about Divi.
Los puntos que quería comentarles el día de hoy acerca de Divi.
I explain to people that don't know, WordPress
La gente que no sabe que WordPress
is like the frame of a house,
es como el marco de una casa
and Divi is everything that's going to make it look nice.
y Divi es todo lo que le va a hacer verse bien.
It's the exterior and interior design.
Y el diseño exterior y el diseño interior.
So that is we only use Divi these days,
Solo usamos Divi estos días. Ahora,
and we've actually built our business
hemos un negocio
around Divi users. So most of our clients now
de usuarios de Divi.
are
Muchos de sus clientes
are
son
agencies and big companies
agencias y grandes compañías
that end up hiring us to build the sites for their clients.
que nos contratan a nosotros para hacer los sitios web a sus clientes.
So that's another thing that's one of the benefits, because it's one of the fastest growing themes out there, and I think it's probably the largest at this point.
Creo que en este punto ya es el más grande.
What that means for you and me is
Lo que eso significa para ti, para mí,
there's plenty of work and there's plenty demand for Divi specialists.
mucha demanda para los temas de Divi.
We get incoming leads for Divi specialists 2 or 3 a day.
Tenemos 2 o 3
Say again, please.
Yes, we get emails 2 or 3 a day
recibimos correos 2 o 3 veces al día
from people who own Divi
que tiene Divi,
and want a specialist to help them out.
que un especialista para ayudar.
That's 2 or 3 a day. That doesn't count our other leads, our other emails.
Otros correos.
So there's, for those who think the market's flooded, it's not. We're still in the baby stages of this product.
no lo está. Divi es un producto que tiene mucha calidad.
Yes. More and more people come to me say they just learned about Divi and they want a Divi website.
Más gente viene y me dice que acaban de conocer Divi y que quieren un sitio de Divi.
And then one last thing before I hand it over to questions
Antes de las preguntas,
is one of the things that we've done is we wanted to make it clear
una de las cosas que hemos hecho es que quede claro
that we provide website services to anybody who wants a website.
que proveemos sitios web a cualquier persona que quiera un sitio web.
But we also make it clear we specialize in Divi.
Que nos especializamos en Divi.
And 95% of our business
95% de nuestro negocio,
is right here, Divi White Label Website Services.
Divi Simple Divi Websites, no, Divi Website Services.
Monterrey.
Yeah, Monterrey Premier.
Yes.
Yes, and that is mostly SEO companies, marketing companies, IT companies that want to offer new websites to their clients, but they don't do it themselves.
Y eso incluye compañías de SEO, compañías de marketing y de publicidad.
Computer
sitios para sus clientes.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at. I thought me and Luis agreed that I would do a basic introduction.
Ahí es donde, bueno, en eso es donde estamos. Y he acordado con Luis de que haría una pequeña introducción.
And leave time in case anybody has questions.
En caso de que alguien tenga una pregunta.
¿Alguna pregunta que quisieran hacerle a Geno directamente? ¿Alguna?
My worry is what I heard. It's the possible problem of speed.
La velocidad de carga dice.
Say that again.
¿De carga o de subida o de bajada? The download speed for the pages.
For Divi pages.
He's afraid that he says, I've heard that there are some issues on the download speed of the Divi pages.
A website building with Divi.
Yes.
He's afraid he heard about something like that.
Yes. So the thing about Divi
La cuestión con Divi
is it doesn't load everything
es que no carga todo,
unless you've added it to a page.
a menos que lo metes en una página.
So on initial install by itself,
Así
it's
que,
still lightning fast.
La instalación por sí sola es muy rápida.
But like with any other website, the more you have on a single page,
Mientras más le pongas a una página,
the more you have to just be very careful with optimization.
te tienes que tener cuidado con la optimización.
So,
No le pongas más trabajo.
so it's really the same with any other theme. The more you have going on a page, the slower you get. And here's where I think the problem and the temptation is.
Y aquí está donde la cuestión y la tentación o el problema de lo que dices está.
Is that because there are so many options,
Porque hay tantas opciones,
people are tempted to put them all in there.
está muy tentado en ponerlas todas.
So, you know, a lot of plugins
Muchos plugins
will automatically load just by installing it.
van a cargar automáticamente solo por instalarlos.
And so the more plugins you have,
Mientras más plugins tengas,
the more conflicts and issues you're going to find.
problemas vas a tener.
So I'm always very cautious to monitor while I'm building.
tengo cuidado de estar monitoreando cuando construyo
if a plugin I just installed affected my speed time.
si un plugin que acabo de instalar afecta mi velocidad.
So,
Mi tiempo de velocidad.
so the other thing that affects download time
El tiempo de download de
It-
bajada
is hosting.
es el hosting.
So I can have the exact same Divi site
Puedo tener el mismo sitio de Divi,
on Flywheel and on GoDaddy,
Flywheel o GoDaddy,
exact same site, and the score could go from a C to an F just from the hosting.
mismo sitio y la calificación puede ir de un C a un F. Solo por el hosting.
Yeah, so all that to say, it's not the same as uploading a blank site,
No es lo mismo.
which will be much faster if it's like if you use WordPress 2020 theme.
No, lo que digo es, no es lo mismo cargar un sitio plano a que si que cargas o un sitio, por ejemplo, de WordPress 2020,
It's lightning fast at first,
empieza rápido al principio,
but even that can slow down as you begin to add more stuff to it.
mientras más le sumas cosas, más se va a ralentizar.
And I will say this,
Quería preguntar si hay algún plugin que recomiende para acelerar el sitio.
Okay. Finish the phrase and I'll ask you a second question.
okay, Nick Roach of Elegant Themes
Nick Rowe de Elegant Films
is always aware of download speeds and is always addressing it.
siempre está pendiente de la velocidad de bajada y siempre está trabajando en ello.
Yeah, so his goal isn't to make it the slowest theme. His goal is to make it the fastest theme.
Lo más rápido, o sea, que salgan sitios más rápidos.
So that's why it evolved at 3.0 from whatever JavaScript they were using before to React.
A lo que estaban usando ahora, antes, para el tiempo de reacción.
Second question.
Yes.
Is there an optimizing plugin that you can recommend?
Yes. So first of all, it depends on your hosting as well.
Depende también de tu hosting.
Flywheel has its own caching.
Will tiene su propio
WP Engine has its own caching.
WPU tiene su
And even SiteGround. So some plugins conflict with the hosting.
pueden generar conflicto con el hosting.
One that works really well that I've used is WP Optimize.
WP Optimize.
WP Optimize. But let me show you something here. This is where things can get a little tricky.
Aquí es donde empieza, donde hay donde puede ponerse un pequeño truco.
So let me see, is this sharing yet? There we go. Can you see this screen?
Sí, yes.
See? Okay. So now we have optimization options here.
Tenemos unas opciones de autorización aquí.
And then we have major optimization right here.
Una gran optimización aquí.
So we have to be careful because if we're running optimization here and then we install a plugin for optimization,
Estamos corriendo optimización aquí y instalamos un plugin de optimización.
they're going to be trying to do the same thing
Para hacer el mismo trabajo.
and could create more friction or more conflict.
Crear más fricción o conflictos.
And then you get into, let's just say you're hosting.
Luego te metes en tu hosting
And
y
they're doing the same thing here.
exactamente lo mismo aquí.
So as you can see, I turned off cache
Yo
here
he quitado el cache aquí, el hosting,
because the one I'm using on the website works just fine.
En el website funciona mejor.
So my recommendation is
Mi recomendación,
so WP Optimized and WP Rocket is another good one.
Visa y WP Cohete, Rocket, perdón. WP Optimize y WP Rocket son los nombres.
Yes, but always keep in mind there's at least 3 different places, and then the browser too. Your browser, I have to clear my browser cache off as well. So you got 4 places.
Que tienes 4 sitios de optimización, los 2 de Divi, el de hosting y el browser.
El navegador.
Yes, and if you want to do testing, if you're not familiar with this,
Si quieres hacer una prueba o no estás familiarizado,
use GT Metrics.
usa
Matrix. Sí, Matrix. GT Matrix. Sí.
Metrics, yeah, GT Metrics, METRIX. Can you see my screen?
No, not yet.
Okay, let me share once again
Okay.
so you can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, this site right here is really good for testing out a website speed.
Es un sitio muy bueno para probar la velocidad del sitio.
And it gives you lots of let me run one real quick.
Es muy buena. Déjame anotar uno rápidamente.
And this will tell you what
Esto te va a decir
you could do to improve
qué puedes hacer para mejorar.
download speed and performance.
Para mejorar tu velocidad de download y el funcionamiento.
And that'll help you to determine what settings you need to change on a plugin.
¿Qué settings tienes que cambiar para optimizar?
So as you can see, this site scores pretty good. It's a Divi site.
Así que
It's nothing too big and fancy of a site. It's just a plain site. It's got a good load time.
no es demasiado cargado, es bastante sencillón, pero funciona bien.
And as you can see, all the big things, optimizing images is the best they can score me for. And this is the site. And it's a nice looking site. It's nothing too fancy.
Es un sitio que se ve bien, no es nada extraordinario, pero funciona bastante bien. Son las imágenes las que tienen más ventas.
So again, it just depends on how much you add sliders, plugins, Instagram, Font Awesome. Those things require going out to their sites to get the info. So again, I just encourage you as you're doing it, take a test of your site when you first started before adding everything.
Haz una prueba de tu sitio antes de agregarle ningún tipo, de agregarle nada, hablando de optimización.
And then as you add new plugins, test it every now and then to see if anything changes.
¿Qué es lo que cambia?
Does that help? ¿Está bien?
Ninguna. Geno, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Divi is a framework or just a team? What do you think about it?
¿Un desarrollador?
No, si es un...
Well, technically,
Técnicamente,
it's just a theme,
es solo un tema.
but it really is, to me, a framework. I use it as a framework.
Funciona como un framework.
Because as you saw with my code, I designed and style it
Con mi código he diseñado con estilo
on the style sheet,
en una hoja de estilo.
but all those rows, modules, and sections, that's the framework. And you could do whatever you want with those things. I mean, it's completely modular.
El framework.
And it'll always be a much better experience than Gutenberg. They will stay ahead of blocks for sure.
What was the last thing?
Oh, and so the new thing for WordPress is Gutenberg, the blocks,
Lo bueno es los bloques de Gutenberg.
and they did that to copy the page builders like Divi and Beaver Builder.
Copiar a constructores como Divi y Block Builder.
Beaver
Beaver Builder.
Builder and Elementor. And Elementor as well. And so WordPress is trying to build that page builder framework into WordPress.
WordPress está intentando construir ese framework.
But Divi, Beaver Builder, Elementor will always be 10 steps ahead of WordPress itself.
Ok. No hay ninguna pregunta más, ¿verdad?
¿Se puede sacar HTML
Can you
texto plano en un diseño de
get HTML from a Divi
design? Can you extract HTML code from a Divi design, Geno?
Yes, you can.
Sí, tú puedes.
Where can you find more info on that?
Let me share my screen real quick. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
I'm using Chrome browser.
¿Está usando Chrome?
Chrome.
So let's just say I want to see the HTML for this section. Right click.
Botón derecho.
Fuente.
Código fuente.
And here I can see the row and the section.
Ahí puede ver el código y la sección.
If I click on the section here,
Si me voy a la sección aquí,
edit as HTML,
editarlo como HTML.
and that's all the HTML for that section.
Y ese es todo el HTML de esa sección.
Also,
Además,
if you view page source, there's all the HTML right there.
la view page source.
Yes.
El recurso de la página.
So you can technically copy and paste this into a code module and it'll output the HTML here. So if you wanted to do a section in a section in a section, you could technically just write it in HTML.
Así que lo puedes hacer por sección o por total, por la totalidad de la página.
Also,
También,
if you like to write HTML,
¿te gusta escribir el HTML?
there's a module called code,
Hay un módulo que se llama código.
and you could do HTML, JavaScript,
Puedes hacer HTML, Java,
and any other type of code you want in this module,
en este módulo.
and it'll output just the way you write the code.
Exactamente como lo has escrito.
So again, the flexibility.
La flexibilidad está ahí.
¿Alguna otra pregunta? ¿Ninguna? Pues nada. Geno.
Geno, thank you.
Thank you. Geno, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate your support. And something else that you have to say before to say bye-bye.
I want to say muchas gracias.
Gracias.
It is a pleasure to be part of the first meetup in Spain. Thank you for coming, everybody. It means a lot to see your faces. And I hope to see you in the Facebook group. If you're using Divi, join Divi community and let me know that you saw me there so that I can know who you are on Facebook.
We will, Geno. We will.
Awesome. Buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you for your time, Geno. Bye-bye. Take care. Blessing. Blessing from Madrid, Geno.
You too, my brother. Thank you, you guys.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Geno.